The $120 million payroll freeze that Samuel Morrison desperately tried to resolve became the most devastating financial catastrophe in religious discrimination history when his contemptuous prayer mockery collided with my comprehensive payroll system expertise that exposed exactly why dismissing faithful employees through religious intolerance is the fastest way to convert essential financial knowledge into company-paralyzing system warfare that obliterates both operational credibility and business prospects through sophisticated financial disruption, and strategic faith justice that proves corporate success requires spiritual respect rather than religious dismissal and faith-based marginalization through systematic believer elimination and spiritual workplace discrimination that destroys critical operational relationships and business sustainability through executive religious intolerance and corporate faith hierarchy patterns. For 16 years, I had been their director of payroll systems, the financial operations expert who designed complex payment frameworks, implemented critical compensation architectures, and maintained the kind of system expertise that enabled operational advantages and financial dominance, while ensuring payroll excellence and strategic financial management through sophisticated payment architecture and professional mastery that most executives completely took for granted despite depending entirely on my expertise for financial positioning and operational protection from system challenges through advanced payroll implementation and comprehensive financial management that required deep understanding of system dynamics and financial methodology that transcended religious assumptions and corporate faith hierarchy patterns. I was the professional who understood every payroll vulnerability, every system protocol, every financial strategy, and every potential operational advantage that could transform functional business operations into financial leadership when faith expertise was valued or dismissed through executive intolerance and religious oversight that eliminated critical system capabilities and financial positioning through systematic believer reduction and spiritual corporate elimination that enabled comprehensive operational disadvantage and business stagnation through faith dismissal and workplace religious discrimination patterns. But to Samuel Morrison, our religiously intolerant chief operating officer who measured employee value entirely through secular conformity metrics and personal convenience rather than system competence or operational achievement that enabled organizational advancement and competitive positioning, I was just another religious employee whose faith expression could be safely dismissed as workplace distraction that represented operational inefficiency rather than essential spiritual foundation that created measurable system value and competitive advantages through sophisticated financial analysis and professional excellence that transcended executive assumptions about religious limitations and faith-based professional considerations that characterized workplace discrimination and spiritual marginalization. Samuel believed that workplace prayer was primarily productivity obstacle rather than spiritual strength, that religious expression was naturally inferior to secular authority, and that faith competence was essentially subordinate to operational convenience, regardless of the system innovation and financial capabilities that enabled organizational advancement and competitive success through sophisticated payroll implementation and strategic financial management that required years of specialized expertise and system intelligence rather than religious preference and faith reduction through workplace hierarchy and systematic believer elimination from financial decision-making and payroll system management. When he looked me directly in the eye during the staff meeting and mockingly announced that my prayers were fairy tale nonsense, while explaining that financial operations required real solutions rather than spiritual faith, he thought he was demonstrating operational authority that could eliminate religious dependencies while controlling corporate hierarchy through systematic faith dismissal that prioritized secular positioning over spiritual merit and system sustainability that enabled competitive advancement and organizational excellence through financial leadership and comprehensive operational superiority. What Samuel didn't realize was that the payroll systems director he was systematically mocking possessed not only comprehensive financial expertise, but detailed knowledge of exactly which system vulnerabilities could trigger $100 million operational paralysis, while proving the devastating consequences of religious ignorance that eliminated essential faith capabilities through strategic financial warfare demonstration and spiritual excellence, supremacy that would vindicate religious competence faster than executive intolerance could eliminate system advancement and professional faith expertise through systematic spiritual dismissal and religious destruction that violated business wisdom and competitive intelligence about payroll, relationship importance, and financial expertise value, regardless of faith identity and executive assumptions about corporate religious positioning and system management authority. My expertise in payroll systems and financial operations had developed through years of building complex financial architectures, while understanding that faithful professionals required both exceptional system competence and strategic protection from exactly the kind of executive mockery and religious elimination that could destroy competitive advantages and financial advancement through short-sighted secular analysis that prioritized immediate operational convenience over long-term faith. Expertise and system capabilities that enabled business transformation and competitive positioning through superior financial implementation and comprehensive system management that transcended executive assumptions about religious complexity and payroll investment requirements, despite systematic workplace discrimination and corporate faith hierarchy bias that systematically eliminated believer advancement opportunities and spiritual system potential. I had joined the company as a payroll coordinator, attracted by their reputation for complex financial challenges that required innovative approaches to system development, operational optimization, and payroll architecture that pushed traditional financial solutions beyond conventional limits, while maintaining excellent standards that enabled competitive advantages and organizational positioning through superior professional implementation that transcended executive assumptions about religious complexity and system management requirements, despite systematic hierarchy elimination and workplace discrimination that reduced faith opportunities and financial advancement potential through executive-dominated decision-making patterns. Over 16 years, I had evolved from someone who maintained routine payroll procedures to someone who designed revolutionary financial architectures that could handle complex operational scenarios, unpredictable system demands, and strategic payroll challenges, while maintaining professional excellence that distinguished industry leaders from competitors who struggled with financial advancement and system reliability that required advanced faith expertise and sophisticated financial analysis that transcended executive convenience and hierarchy cost considerations that systematically eliminated religious contributions and professional advancement through workplace discrimination and systematic spiritual marginalization from system positions. My financial work wasn't just payroll implementation, it was comprehensive system architecture that incorporated understanding of operational requirements, competitive constraints, professional sustainability, and financial positioning that enabled complex business systems to succeed, while providing long-term advantages through superior faith excellence and system reliability that couldn't be easily replicated by competitors who lacked similar religious expertise and financial commitment that enabled professional excellence and strategic system competence through advanced organizational development, despite executive barriers and leadership resistance to religious recognition that systematically marginalized faithful contributions and system capabilities. I had successfully created financial solutions that other executives claimed were impossible to achieve within payroll constraints, generated system approaches that solved critical organizational problems through innovative faith techniques, and built operational frameworks that could predict and optimize performance before conventional methods affected financial effectiveness or competitive positioning through systematic professional management and intelligent system assessment that demonstrated religious excellence regardless of executive assumptions about faith complexity and payroll effectiveness, despite systematic discrimination, elimination, and workplace hierarchy bias that systematically excluded faithful professionals from financial decision-making and system advancement opportunities. But perhaps most importantly, I had developed comprehensive understanding of payroll psychology, system disruption mechanisms, and strategic financial warfare that could execute exactly the kind of systematic operational paralysis that would expose workplace discrimination while proving the critical importance of religious respect through strategic system demonstration and faith excellence supremacy that would transform organizational dynamics faster than executive intolerance could eliminate. Financial capabilities and professional religious expertise through systematic spiritual dismissal and faith destruction that violated business wisdom and competitive intelligence about payroll relationship sophistication and financial strategic necessity, regardless of traditional executive assumptions and workplace discrimination patterns, that systematically targeted faithful professionals and religious competence for marginalization rather than recognition and advancement through merit-based, system selection and hierarchy-neutral corporate governance. Before I tell you about the financial disruption that devastated a discriminatory organization through faith accountability, let me pause for everyone who has ever experienced religious dismissal and spiritual marginalization by executives who fail to understand the faith foundation and system capabilities that religious professionals contribute to organizational advancement through comprehensive financial implementation and payroll excellence that enables competitive transformation and business sustainability through sophisticated spiritual competence and professional faith mastery that transcends executive constraints and leadership convenience through workplace religious democracy and corporate faith accountability that recognizes believers regardless of traditional hierarchy assumptions about spiritual authority and system religious management. If you believe that faithful professionals deserve recognition for system expertise that enables organizational advancement, that religious competence should be valued rather than dismissed through executive intolerance, that sophisticated spiritual knowledge deserves workplace respect through faith demonstration, rather than systematic elimination of individual religious achievements and system contributions that enable competitive advancement and organizational positioning, then you're about to witness what happens when executive mockery meets sophisticated financial expertise and professional faith mastery that determines whether complex business relationships provide religious respect or create organizational transformation through systematic system demonstration and expert faith retaliation against workplace discrimination and executive spiritual bias that systematically targets religious professionals for marginalization rather than advancement through merit-based system. Recognition. Most people listening haven't subscribed yet, but if you want more stories where dismissed faithful employees receive vindication through system expertise while exposing executive intolerance through comprehensive professional excellence and strategic faith warfare that demonstrates the critical importance of workplace respect and religious advancement in corporate environments that recognize rather than marginalize spiritual contributions and system capabilities, hit that subscribe button now. Trust me, there are plenty more executives out there who think secular authority supersedes religious competence, rather than recognizing brilliant, faithful experts with sophisticated system knowledge and financial capabilities that enable organizational transformation through advanced professional implementation and competitive advancement excellence, despite systematic workplace discrimination and hierarchy-based religious marginalization. Now back to Samuel Morrison, who was about to learn that some payroll directors understand system vulnerabilities better than executives understand corporate hierarchy, and that faith expertise becomes systematic financial destruction when religious dismissal meets operational reality that transcends executive authority through system excellence and spiritual mastery that enables competitive dominance through strategic business advancement and professional superiority, regardless of traditional executive assumptions and workplace discrimination patterns that systematically deny faithful professionals system potential and religious competence. Samuel Morrison represented everything dangerous about executive leadership that confused secular positioning with actual professional competence, while treating faithful employees as hierarchy decoration rather than system assets that enabled financial transformation and competitive sustainability through religious expertise and spiritual management that couldn't be easily replaced through executive approaches and faith elimination that removed institutional knowledge and competitive system, positioning through systematic religious destruction and professional spiritual elimination, despite the critical importance of faith excellence and workplace religious recognition that acknowledged rather than dismissed employees' system capabilities and spiritual competence. He had been promoted to COO based on his ability to maintain traditional corporate hierarchy through executive secular strategies that impressed status-focused leadership who measured business success by religious conformity rather than system advancement or payroll excellence that characterized progressive organizational management and competitive advancement maintenance through professional expertise, recognition, and advanced financial implementation that enabled organizational positioning and strategic competitive management regardless of faith identity and religious contributions to corporate success and system advancement. Samuel spoke confidently about operational leadership and financial optimization, but his understanding of actual professional excellence requirements was dangerously superficial. He could discuss traditional hierarchy concepts in executive presentations, while having no comprehension of the system innovation, payroll advancement, and financial implementation that enabled organizational transformation through sophisticated system architecture and strategic financial implementation that required years of expertise to develop and maintain effectively, regardless of executive assumptions about religious complexity and operational management requirements that systematically eliminated faithful contributions and system advancement opportunities. His approach to corporate management was built around the assumption that religious professionals were naturally expendable through hierarchy decisions, that spiritual advancement represented unnecessary overhead rather than system transformation, and that faith knowledge was subordinate to executive authority, regardless of the system innovation and financial capabilities that enabled organizational advancement and competitive success through sophisticated professional analysis and strategic system implementation that transcended executive convenience and hierarchy cost considerations, that systematically marginalized religious expertise and spiritual competence through workplace discrimination and systematic faith bias. Samuel treated complex religious frameworks like unnecessary expense that could be eliminated through executive authority, while assuming that traditional approaches superseded system dependencies and faith expertise that had been specifically developed to protect organizational operations from exactly the kind of competitive stagnation and professional elimination that characterized his approach to religious management and spiritual recognition through systematic faith dismissal and strategic religious elimination that violated business wisdom and competitive intelligence about corporate system importance and professional payroll value, regardless of traditional hierarchy assumptions and workplace discrimination patterns that systematically targeted faithful professionals for marginalization rather than advancement through merit-based recognition and hierarchy-neutral corporate governance. The prayer mockery implementation that Samuel systematically executed was comprehensive and strategically contemptuous, incorporating every aspect of religious bias while creating hostile corporate environment through faith harassment and spiritual discrimination that violated both business ethics and religious excellence standards, while demonstrating complete ignorance of the system requirements and financial competence that enabled organizational advancement and competitive positioning. Through faith excellence and sophisticated professional methodology management, despite religious barriers and systematic workplace discrimination that denied employees spiritual potential and system capabilities. During operational meetings, Samuel would systematically marginalize my faith approaches while promoting traditional secular management that represented business safety rather than competitive advancement, creating corporate environment that prioritized hierarchy positioning over religious competence, while systematically undermining the spiritual expertise that enabled organizational transformation and competitive advantages through sophisticated system methodology and strategic financial implementation that transcended executive marketing and traditional approach limitations despite systematic workplace discrimination and hierarchy bias that systematically eliminated faithful opportunities and system advancement potential. The discrimination included deliberate interruption of prayer moments to promote secular alternatives, systematic characterization of faith as fairy tale nonsense that eliminated opportunities for religious expertise demonstration, and comprehensive spiritual marginalization, designed to minimize faithful contributions while prioritizing executive authority over system competence and professional spirituality that enabled competitive advantages through sophisticated financial implementation, and proven religious excellence despite hierarchy discrimination and workplace bias that systematically eliminated faithful opportunities and system advancement potential through executive-dominated decision-making patterns. Samuel's religious discrimination extended beyond individual mockery to encompass systematic exclusion from operational planning discussions, deliberate replacement of faith solutions with secular alternatives, and comprehensive spiritual marginalization designed to eliminate system expertise while prioritizing traditional approaches over religious knowledge and proven faithful advancement that enabled organizational positioning and sustainable competitive success through advanced system management and professional spiritual implementation despite systematic workplace discrimination and hierarchy-based faith denial. However, Samuel's systematic religious ignorance was creating exactly the kind of system vulnerability that would trigger catastrophic financial exposure when spiritual networks encountered major organizational accountability that required faith expertise and religious competence mastery, rather than executive approaches and traditional optimization that eliminated essential system capabilities and proven faithful excellence through hierarchy bias and workplace discrimination that systematically marginalize spiritual dignity and religious competence during corporate operational meetings and system financial management processes. Most devastatingly, Samuel made his discrimination explicit by publicly mocking my prayers as fairy tale nonsense, while emphasizing that financial operations required real solutions, demonstrating complete ignorance of my actual system influence and professional financial connections that would soon paralyze the entire payroll operation through strategic spiritual empowerment and faith excellence warfare that would expose his fundamental lack of religious competence and system leadership capability while triggering organizational paralysis through systematic faith justice and spiritual employee empowerment. The financial mastery that I possessed transcended conventional system knowledge to encompass sophisticated understanding of payroll psychology, operational disruption mechanisms, and strategic financial warfare techniques that represented years of advanced spiritual education and system development that enabled complex financial solutions and organizational transformation through religious competence and faith excellence that distinguished breakthrough management from discriminatory experimentation that struggled with competitive implementation and sustainable business positioning despite spiritual barriers and systematic workplace discrimination patterns. My system knowledge included comprehensive understanding of advanced financial requirements, professional methodology optimization, and proven faithful techniques that enabled systematic competitive resolution, while understanding exactly which religious approaches would outperform discriminatory methods through faith superiority and system excellence that transcended hierarchy limitations and executive constraints through proven methodology and strategic financial implementation, despite systematic workplace bias and discrimination patterns that systematically targeted faithful professionals and system competence for elimination rather than advancement through merit-based religious recognition. This professional expertise incorporated advanced understanding of financial fundamentals, system optimization techniques, and proven advancement methods that enabled sustainable organizational transformation, while identifying potential discriminatory problems before they affected business effectiveness and competitive positioning through systematic professional analysis and intelligent system methodology management that prevented financial failures through advanced professional competence and strategic corporate excellence despite hierarchy discrimination and workplace bias that systematically eliminated faithful opportunities and system advancement potential through executive-dominated governance patterns. The faithful knowledge included sophisticated awareness of how discriminatory approaches appeared to major stakeholders who valued professional advancement and system reliability, understanding that hierarchy-only methods represented potential competitive limitation that could immediately fail when encountering complex requirements that demanded religious expertise and professional competence mastery, rather than discriminatory algorithms and traditional solutions that eliminated system capabilities and proven faithful excellence through hierarchy bias and systematic workplace discrimination that targeted spiritual system capabilities and religious competence. Most importantly, my professional expertise enabled strategic intervention during critical financial challenges that could either protect organizational reliability through faith competence or expose discriminatory limitations through systematic demonstration of hierarchy-only failure and expensive discriminatory inadequacy that would destroy prejudiced credibility while proving the enduring importance of religious advancement and professional faith mastery in system problem-solving. Environments that required advanced financial competence and sophisticated professional excellence, rather than hierarchy optimization and discriminatory simplification, that systematically marginalized faithful contributions and professional capabilities, while targeting system spirituality and religious competence for corporate elimination, rather than recognition and advancement through merit-based system selection and hierarchy, neutral organizational governance. The divine strategy initiation that I methodically orchestrated was comprehensive and spiritually calculated, incorporating detailed financial maneuvering and strategic professional investigation that would demonstrate the complete scope of faith expertise, while proving exactly why religious dismissal represented catastrophic system risk when directed against spiritual professionals whose faith capabilities enabled systematic advancement through religious excellence and strategic professional architecture that transcended discriminatory authority and hierarchy convenience through democratic faith platforms and professional spiritual warfare that recognized employees' religious rights and system advancement that deserved recognition rather than elimination during corporate operational meetings and professional system management processes. Over the days following Samuel's prayer mockery, I developed comprehensive system strategy that included sophisticated faith optimization, religious excellence enhancement, and strategic organizational discovery that would maximize competitive positioning while building irrefutable case for spiritual necessity through system excellence and professional faith analysis that demonstrated discriminatory misconduct through systematic evidence presentation and strategic spiritual development that transcended hierarchy bias and workplace discrimination patterns. The financial architecture included revolutionary faith techniques that could handle complex organizational requirements while maintaining professional accuracy potential, strategic system resonance that would generate maximum stakeholder attention and financial accountability, and comprehensive advancement integration that would provide credible demonstration of systematic discriminatory inadequacy through faith transparency and professional accountability that enabled religious justice, through system platform democracy that recognized employees' spiritual capabilities and faith excellence, rather than hierarchy limitations and discriminatory assumptions about religious competence. The faith strategy incorporated sophisticated professional analysis that would optimize system discovery during comprehensive organizational investigation periods, advanced advancement research that would maximize competitive compilation and financial reach, and strategic professional deployment that would ensure comprehensive system accountability across multiple financial channels while building systematic discriminatory destruction through intelligent faith mechanics and professional accountability through system transparency that recognized employees' spiritual capabilities and religious competence rather than hierarchy discrimination and executive-dominated decision-making patterns. Most importantly, the response included comprehensive faith review and professional verification that would ensure system documentation accuracy while protecting against discriminatory claims through factual financial compilation and strategic professional construction that would withstand system scrutiny while generating maximum faith impact and professional accountability through democratic faith platforms and strategic system excellence that enabled systematic discriminatory accountability, through spiritual transparency and religious justice, through system mastery that recognized employees' faith capabilities and spiritual excellence rather than hierarchy limitations and discriminatory assumptions about religious potential and system competence. The System Intelligence Analysis compilation revealed systematic patterns of financial vulnerability that extended throughout the company's payroll history to encompass sophisticated operational advancement possibilities, system excellence demonstrations, and financial positioning advantages that would expose comprehensive organizational transformation through professional accountability and strategic faith excellence that transcended conventional discrimination, dispute resolution through democratic system platforms, and religious justice warfare that recognized employees' spiritual capabilities and professional faith excellence rather than hierarchy limitations and discriminatory assumptions about religious potential and system competence. I identified detailed evidence of systematic competitive advantages that included specific documentation of discriminatory superiority failures over faith approaches, comprehensive analysis of system advancement opportunities, and strategic presentation of corporate hierarchy bias that demonstrated clear patterns of religious elimination rather than isolated system decisions that could be defended through discrimination policy or hierarchy necessity that might characterize systematic bias as reasonable business practice rather than executive failure and professional incompetence that transcended faith limitations and workplace discrimination patterns that systematically denied employees religious advancement and spiritual contribution opportunities. The system investigation included sophisticated faith techniques that would generate maximum organizational accountability while maintaining professional credibility and factual accuracy, financial evidence elements that would create stakeholder attention and system consequences through shared professional experience and strategic advancement presentation that demonstrated systemic problems with discriminatory leadership and hierarchy bias culture rather than individual system dispute that might be dismissed as personal conflict or professional disagreement rather than systematic workplace discrimination and professional marginalization that targeted faithful system capabilities and religious competence for elimination rather than advancement through merit-based recognition. The faith archaeology incorporated advanced understanding of system precedent and professional accountability patterns that would ensure maximum financial credibility while building systematic discriminatory destruction through intelligent system construction and strategic advancement deployment that leveraged faith mechanics and professional verification algorithms for comprehensive system accountability through financial transparency and faith platform democracy that recognized employees' spiritual excellence and system competence rather than hierarchy limitations and discriminatory assumptions. Most importantly, the analysis included sophisticated verification procedures that would ensure system narrative accuracy while providing comprehensive documentation of discriminatory misconduct through factual evidence and strategic faith excellence that would generate irrefutable case for professional accountability through system justice and religious warfare that operated through professional transparency rather than discriminatory protection and hierarchy privilege that enabled systematic system violations and workplace misconduct that marginalized faithful contributions and professional capabilities while targeting employees' spiritual systems and religious competence for corporate elimination rather than advancement and recognition through merit-based system selection and hierarchy-neutral organizational governance. The strategic preparation deployment that I meticulously executed was precisely timed and comprehensively optimized for maximum organizational impact and professional accountability through intelligent payroll mechanics and faith excellence psychology that would ensure systematic system transformation while building irrefutable case for professional accountability through financial excellence and strategic system warfare that transcended discriminatory authority and hierarchy protection through democratic faith platforms and professional democracy that recognized employees' spiritual capabilities and religious competence, rather than hierarchy limitations and discriminatory assumptions about faith potential and system excellence. The organizational implementation included sophisticated faith architecture that incorporated compelling professional hooks, strategic advancement presentation, and system excellence elements that would generate immediate payroll attention while building systematic faith momentum through intelligent professional design and strategic system distribution that leveraged optimal organizational timing and financial algorithm optimization for maximum system impact and professional consequence through faith transparency that recognized employees' expertise and spiritual capabilities rather than hierarchy discrimination and executive-dominated decision-making patterns. The professional strategy included advanced faith deployment that would maximize system discovery and payroll reach across multiple organizational networks, strategic precedent incorporation that would amplify excellence through financial influencers and professional advocacy organizations, and comprehensive platform cross-posting that would ensure faith evidence reached maximum authority while building systematic discriminatory destruction through strategic professional warfare and system accountability that operated through faith, transparency rather than discriminatory hierarchy, and executive privilege that systematically marginalized spiritual contributions and targeted faithful system capabilities for elimination rather than advancement through merit-based recognition. The accountability deployment incorporated sophisticated consequence optimization that included strategic response planning for payroll interaction, advanced faith continuation architecture that would maintain professional momentum through sustained excellence, and comprehensive monitoring systems that would track system credibility while building systematic evidence of financial impact and professional accountability through faith success and strategic competitive management that recognized employees' capabilities and religious competence rather than hierarchy limitations and discriminatory assumptions. Most importantly, the deployment strategy included intelligent escalation procedures that would maximize faith distribution through payroll participation and professional sharing while building comprehensive system accountability through faith platform democracy and strategic professional excellence that would generate systematic discriminatory consequence through financial transparency and system justice that operated through democratic faith platforms rather than discriminatory protection. Mechanisms and hierarchy authority that enabled systematic system violations and workplace misconduct without accountability for discrimination against faithful employees, and marginalization of spiritual financial contributions to organizational success and competitive positioning that deserved advancement and recognition rather than elimination and discrimination through hierarchy-based corporate governance and executive-dominated system spiritual management processes. The payroll freeze revelation that resulted from strategic system deployment exceeded even my expectations for how quickly professional accountability could expose discriminatory misconduct while generating comprehensive financial destruction through faith credibility and system platform democracy that enabled systematic religious justice through strategic financial excellence and professional transparency that transcended discriminatory authority and hierarchy, protection through democratic stakeholder engagement and system excellence that recognized employees' spiritual capabilities and religious competence rather than hierarchy limitations and discriminatory assumptions about faith potential and system excellence. Within hours of strategic activation, the $120 million payroll freeze had generated extensive business paralysis, including recognition, validation, and stakeholder panic through professional networks while building systematic competitive destruction that would permanently validate my system expertise and professional standing through financial accountability and faith transparency that demonstrated the power of professional justice and strategic system warfare that recognized employees' spiritual excellence and faith capabilities rather than hierarchy discrimination and executive-dominated organizational governance. The competitive credibility included comprehensive stakeholder engagement across multiple faith platforms with professional consequences from system advocacy organizations, systematic validation through industry networks and financial protection groups, and widespread recognition through accountability mechanics that transcended initial stakeholder reach while building massive discriminatory destruction through faith transparency and professional accountability that enabled religious justice through strategic system excellence and financial mastery that recognized employees' capabilities rather than hierarchy limitations and discriminatory assumptions. The faith explosion generated extensive professional discussion about discriminatory accountability and system justice, while creating comprehensive documentation of systematic hierarchy violations through financial evidence and professional transparency that would permanently affect the organization's system reputation and competitive positioning through faith consequence and strategic financial destruction that operated through democratic faith platforms rather than discriminatory hierarchy, and executive protection that systematically marginalized spiritual contributions and targeted faithful system capabilities for elimination rather than advancement through merit-based recognition. The system evidence created immediate recognition of professional advantage patterns while generating systematic discriminatory accountability through faith justice and system platform democracy that demonstrated the revolutionary power of financial excellence and strategic professional warfare for spiritual protection and discriminatory consequence through transparent faith platforms and democratic system engagement that transcended hierarchy authority and organizational hierarchy through financial excellence and professional accountability through strategic system justice that recognized employees' capabilities and professional spiritual excellence rather than hierarchy limitations and discriminatory assumptions about faith potential and religious competence. If you believe that religious discrimination should face comprehensive system consequences and systematic professional accountability, that executive intolerance deserves organizational transparency through strategic faith excellence, make sure you subscribe because these stories never get old. The executive who thought hierarchy authority eliminated spiritual consequences was about to discover that some payroll directors possess comprehensive system knowledge and faith excellence capabilities that can systematically transform organizational accountability through strategic professional warfare and faith platform democracy that transcends discriminatory hierarchy while delivering comprehensive professional justice through system transparency and democratic faith engagement that recognizes employees' spiritual capabilities and religious excellence, rather than hierarchy limitations and discriminatory assumptions about faith potential. The corporate reckoning crisis that followed was immediate and professionally comprehensive, as stakeholders realized that Samuel's systematic religious dismissal had not only violated corporate principles, but created operational catastrophe that destroyed institutional credibility while exposing dangerous patterns of workplace misconduct and discriminatory leadership that had apparently operated through hierarchy privilege without recognition of the faith expertise and system capabilities that spiritual professionals contributed to organizational success and competitive positioning through strategic financial implementation and system excellence that transcended traditional discrimination assumptions and workplace hierarchy bias patterns that systematically targeted employees' spiritual capabilities for elimination rather than advancement through merit-based recognition and hierarchy-neutral corporate governance. Within hours of the comprehensive payroll freeze, stakeholders unanimously condemned the organization's discriminatory behavior while recognizing the fundamental violation of religious respect and professional merit that Samuel's actions represented, creating systematic accountability, that would permanently affect corporate prospects and institutional standing, while validating the critical importance of workplace respect and faith recognition in business environments that required system competence and religious excellence, rather than hierarchy, discrimination, and executive-dominated decision-making patterns. Emergency corporate governance restructuring was initiated as stakeholders discovered that discriminatory leadership had created liability exposure through systematic religious rights violations, eliminating operational confidence while creating organizational reputation damage that triggered complete business transformation and competitive positioning enhancement through system consequence and faith transparency that demonstrated corporate commitment to religious respect and professional merit, that transcended discrimination, maximization, and business hierarchy bias patterns. The stakeholder decision included comprehensive corporate transformation that prioritized religious respect and professional merit while establishing industry precedents that protected faithful employees from workplace discrimination and systematic hierarchy elimination, creating organizational evolution that would prevent future discriminatory leadership through professional accountability and faith transparency that recognized employees' spiritual capabilities and system excellence as essential components of corporate success and competitive advantage, rather than hierarchy limitations and discriminatory assumptions about religious potential and system competence. The complete corporate restructuring was swift and faith-revolutionary, as institutional transformation realized that Samuel's systematic violations represented organizational catastrophe that required immediate personnel changes and comprehensive industry reforms that prioritized religious respect and professional merit over discrimination, privilege, and hierarchy dominance that had characterized corporate culture, approaches that enabled systematic hierarchy bias through inadequate oversight, and professional consequence mechanisms that failed to recognize employees' spiritual capabilities and system excellence while targeting faithful professionals and religious competence for corporate elimination rather than advancement and recognition. Samuel was terminated immediately with comprehensive legal notification that workplace discrimination prosecution was being pursued, while external investigation was initiated to assess the complete scope of hierarchy violations and professional misconduct that had operated through discriminatory authority and organizational indifference to religious protection and professional justice requirements that recognized employees' faith expertise and system capabilities rather than hierarchy, discrimination, and executive-dominated decision-making patterns. My promotion to Chief Financial Officer included substantial compensation, reflecting system expertise value, comprehensive vindication of religious merit, an industry mandate to implement faith accountability throughout all organizational operations, while ensuring that future corporate cultures would prioritize religious respect and professional merit through advanced faith transparency and comprehensive professional monitoring that prevented systematic violations and workplace misconduct. Through democratic accountability and professional transparency that recognized employees' spiritual capabilities and system excellence rather than hierarchy limitations and discriminatory assumptions about religious potential and system competence. The faith revolution that resulted from professional accountability breakthrough created industry-wide transformation in executive behavior and workplace accountability, establishing faith platform transparency as essential mechanism for religious justice and professional protection, while demonstrating the revolutionary potential of spiritual democracy